Back in our parents' day, let's say the 70s, 80s, or even the early 90s, it was the norm to move out between 17 and 20. Spread your wings. But here's the thing, it was a different time. Shit, it was a different world. Back then, you could afford to live life working a normal job, or worst case scenario, you go live with a buddy or your girlfriend. In 2025, dog, that's not an option no more. I lived on my own for a while in my early 20s, but life circumstances changed. With my family's health problems, I decided to move back home to help out. That was my best decision. My stepfather wasn't feeling health, and my mom had been pretty badly injured in a workplace accident. I moved back right as COVID hit too, so I figured that was probably a sign from God that it was a good time to pull the trigger. My stepfather passed 2 years ago, so now it's just me and my mom's. I've thought about moving out, but I mean, fuck, have y'all taken a look at the housing market? Bro, apartments that used to be 700, 850 back when I graduated in 2014. I know I'm a unk. Man, them shits have doubled in price. Like, I shit you not, a 1 bedroom, 1 bath that I was contemplating moving back into, like back in the day, I think it used to be like $800. Bro, that shit is $17,500 right now. It's the same exact 1 bedroom, 1 bath. God forbid you want to rent a house. Dog, houses that like the rent used to be, I don't know, like $1,200 a month back then. Bro, they're going for like $2,400 now on the low end. I've been back at home for, I don't know, like 4 years now. And I ain't gonna lie, at first, it felt weird. You know, it was kind of embarrassing, and I felt like I was doing something wrong by being at home. You know, I was working and helping out around the house, both financially, you know, working on whatever needed to be fixed and shit. But, you know, we all grew up watching TV that tells you you're supposed to move out by 20, and that's that. That was society back then. There's benefits to being at home that people really don't talk about. There's the obvious, you know, like rent and bills. We own the home and the land that we're on, so there's no rent. That's at least $1,800 a month you get to save. And believe me, that shit adds up quick. My mom's in her 60s now, and I'm really the only person she has left that's, you know, gonna be able to help out and help watch out for her. And here's the biggest thing. I fucking love my mom, bro. We get along so well. Like, dog, she is literally my best friend. And, you know, sure, we might get on each other's nerves once in a while, but, bro, for the most part, we always enjoy hanging out and, like, spending time together. And I'm not saying I'm hanging out with my mom all fucking day, every day. But, you know, when you come home after being gone all day, I don't mind sitting down and watching an episode of Law and Order or some shit with her. Just chilling, hanging out, keeping her company. Honestly, there's just simply more pros than cons to living with her. I'm able to help her out so much more than if I was gone. And shit, I'm saving myself at least 2 bands a month in the process. So, because of that, you know, I was able to work my ass off last year and pay over like $7,000 in debt that I had accumulated. And now I'm pretty much debt free. That wouldn't have been nearly as feasible, you know, if I was spending $2,500 a month on rent. I'd argue the only downside, at least in my situation, really is like dating or seeing somebody. You know, my home's not really big enough for it not to be weird if I bring a shorty home. So I either got to go to their place or make the effort and get a hotel. You know, do something to have your alone time. And now it's not lost on me, you know, that not everybody gets along with their parents the same as me. You know, some people may have them still be overbearing in their lives with that, you know, my roof, my rule shit. I hope that's not the case, but I'm more than sure it happens to people. In a situation like that, yeah, you know, maybe staying home isn't really the best move. But if you love and get along with your parents, why would you feel ashamed about sharing a home with the people you love? You know, there's nothing shameful about being a good son or daughter and helping them. There's nothing shameful about making wise financial decisions and saving your money, or better yet, saving your money and helping ease the situation for them at the same time. You know, I'm Afro-Latino, black and Spanish. In Hispanic cultures, family is extremely important. And it's extremely normal for old parents to live with their children and their children's family. You know, in Spanish culture, the son can leave the home, start a family, and when the parents are old, they'll come live with him and his new family. Because again, you know, they sacrifice so much for you. I think you should do the same, or at least be willing to. But at this point, like I said, she's in her 60s now. I think now, even if I decided to move out, at this point, it's honestly a possibility that I'll just bring her with me somewhere else. You know, we all have different circumstances and situations, and believe me, I know how much freedom and solitude can be tempting. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't move out on your own. You know, if that's what you want and it's a possibility, do it. All I'm saying is there's no reason to be ashamed of living home with your parents in 2025, regardless of your age.